Welcome everyone to another edition of the Second Son podcast. Today we have a special guest, Emily. Emily, how are you this morning?
Oh, what a fine Saturday. What a fine Saturday. It's been great. It's been great. Really busy today, but I'm glad I'm here.
Well, that's good. That's good. How was your week?
This week was really hard. This week was really busy. Yeah, I mean, I'm really big on energy, as you know, and we had full moon in Leo. That one hit hard.
The full moon was like this Wednesday.
Yeah. No, I think it was like 2 days ago. Thursday? Wednesday? Something like that. Regardless, mess me up. And doing a lot of big projects and stuff right now, so a lot going on, but I'd rather be busy than be stagnant, so I'm okay with that.
That's so true. What was your high?
My what?
What was your high? Like, what was the highest of your week?
Oh, gotcha.
She said that threw me off.
I was like, am I high?
I was like, how'd you know?
No, I mean, there's so many highs. I think, especially when you've been so passionate about something for so long, you've been working on a project for so long, and you finally see it start to come to fruition, and seeing it almost perfectly laid out piece by piece. Yeah. I feel like that was my high. Like, finally seeing the effort, the work I've done, finally, like, be something I could be proud of, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
I know the feeling, too. That's really good.
What was your high?
What was my high?
Yeah.
Okay. Having you on this podcast. I'm serious. I was like, she doesn't show up. Like, I had a feeling, usually when people cancel once, that means they're going to cancel again. That's just standard.
Yeah.
I was like, if she doesn't come, I was like, who am I going to replace? I mean, how am I going to replace her? And this already happened once.
Irreplaceable. You can never. That's why I'm here.
That's good. But that was my high for sure. My low, actually, what was your low before I answer my low?
Ooh. You know what? I feel like, especially in the world of business, I feel like every high is paired with a low, and that's why the highs are so great, because you get to experience the downfall afterwards.
100%.
So definitely tied to, like, what I'm doing and my project. It's definitely been hard to figure out how to manage my time. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that you have to learn as you grow up, you get older, all that stuff. Managing time, divvying out where I want to actually, like, use my energy, what I want to put my energy to. You know, going from having a passion project and then having to divvy passion project from work and stuff that's making me money.
Right.
That's a hard balance sometimes. So that was probably my low, but figured it out. So we're good. Yep.
That's what's up. For any the audience, since they don't really know you, I want you to kind of tell us your background and, like, what projects you're currently working on.
Yeah, well, that's a great segue. My name is Emily May. What's up, everybody? I am a Sacramento native. I'm up here in Chico, about to graduate. I have my major in marketing and a double minor in international relations and entrepreneurship. So all things big business, and I bet you could guess what my big project is. If you can't guess by now, I have launched my own social media agency. Yay!
Yay, clap it up. That's what's up.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's been a long journey. Like, a lot of learning and finishing, but then not liking what I had, completely rebranding, setting everything up. So it's really good to now actually feel like I'm a boss.
Yeah.
We love boss energy.
Yes.
Boss woman energy, all 2022 and beyond.
Yes, we love that.
Exactly. So a lot of pieces still moving, but we've got to start.
Yeah.
We've got to start.
Eventually.
Right. Exactly.
Are you ready though? Like, are you?
You know what? I think now that I'm about to graduate and I'm doing all of this stupid adulting stuff, I feel like one of the things that I have been struggling with is perfection always trying to be perfect, always trying to make the perfect product, make the perfect service, pick the perfect price, be that person. And I think one of the things I learned now where I'm at, it will never be perfect. It'll never be perfect. It'll never be exactly what you want it to be. And even if you absolutely love what you have right now, in a year from now, that's going to be like your worst product so far. So you may be happy with it now, you may hate it later. You may hate it now, you may be ecstatic about it later. So that's why I think I finally realized, like, you just got to start. You just got to do it. It'll never be perfect to me. I'm a perfectionist. I will never be able to meet my expectations because I hold them very high. But I do that for a reason, because if I hold myself high, then that makes everybody else around me hold myself high.
That's facts.
Right?
That's facts.
You gotta give the energy you receive. And I feel like I'm someone, I really try to lead by example. And I also lead by example in showing people how I expect to be treated and what I'm willing to give and what I'm willing to not give, what I'm willing to get. Yeah. So I feel like, is it perfect? No. Am I going to keep working on it? Yes, absolutely. I will always be editing. I will always be working. I will always be adapting, especially in the realm of social media. Changes daily, weekly, yearly, minute by minute. That's always changing. It's always changing. So I feel like that's what I love about it the most, though, because I feel like you and I are really similar in that sense. We're like, I don't like being stagnant. Yeah. I don't like being in one place. I don't like doing the same job over and over and over again. We're not 9 to 5 people. No. We're people that like change and like adapting.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. This guy, I was listening to this other podcast. This guy was like, he was talking about the same thing, just like being stagnant. He was like, if you ever were to, like, he realized, like, he was working the same job for like years, and it came to the point where it's like, if he would have took a coma like January 1st and woke up like December 1st, nothing would change. Like, he'd still be with the same friends. He'd still be making the same money. Like, right. And he was like, I don't want that anymore. I was like, dang, that's deep.
Wrecks the brain, dude. Yeah. And I feel like that's also a really hard thing for people in our generation to grasp, because I feel like, especially through COVID, it's hard not to feel stagnant 24/7.
That's true.
When, through quarantine and doing school virtually and not having any more events, not going out, we really had to get creative. Yeah. We really had to find different ways to learn and not be stagnant and continue to grow. And that was hard. At least for me.
That was hard.
That was a hard one.
That was.
But do you feel like you came out of it? Well, not that we're out of COVID yet, obviously, but
absolutely not.
But now that I pray we're on the home stretch, now that we're kind of through it, do you feel like you came out of it a better person?
Oh, that's a good question. I would have to say yes. I feel like I did, just because of my willingness to adapt. I feel like everybody has that trait when COVID came, just like forced adaptation. And I feel like through adaptation, it's just like, that's growth within itself. You like unconsciously force yourself to adapt to, your surroundings and your environment just to better yourself. So I feel like I did change as a person. And I feel like I knew, or I didn't know, I feel like I reached into something deeper within myself and pulled out like strings of creativity or strings of like openness for me to like hang out with certain people, or hang out with a different certain people, or a different group of people, or work for a different job, or, just like, pulling strings. And I feel like that made me grow. So
totally. And I feel like it went through stages too. Like, it's kind of like the stages of grief, but I call it the stage of COVID.
Stages of COVID.
Yeah, because think about it. Think about our timeline. It's been, 2 years now? In the beginning of our timeline, we felt optimistic. We felt like, it's not a big deal. It's fine. We'll figure it out. We'll go back to school. It'll be okay. Yeah. And then there's a phase of mourning where, at least for me, I almost mourned that part of me I felt I lost, or that person I thought I was pre-COVID. because I thought I had my shit together. I thought I was all that in the bag of chips and that I was ready to go and that I knew everything I needed to know. Like, I really thought that
You got punched in
I
the
had
mouth.
it figured out. And COVID took me for a turn and really put me in my place. It was like an ego death. Like, it was straight up ego death. I was like, wow, like, I hold myself to all these high standards and I feel so great about myself. But now I'm having to sit alone with myself and listen to my own thoughts. And I'm not someone that was ever comfortable being alone. Ever. Literally ever. I feel like I was always someone who I crave attention. I crave community. I crave that presence from people. And so to not have that, it forced me to do a lot of self-reflection I wasn't ready for. And I think one of the things I had to reflect on the most was what actually makes me special. Like, have you ever thought about that? What makes you special? Like, what makes you stand out?
I mean, I feel like my presence, like, I feel like it's the same thing as yours. Like, I feel like my presence and, like, sometimes my energy, like, I don't know, dictates how things are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like that's also been a really interesting thing, too, because I feel like we've always been on that, like, energy vibe.
Yeah.
Feel the vibe.
Yeah.
Feel it out. But I feel like our vibes took a turn during COVID. But I feel like one of the things that's awesome, and I agree, I feel like that is your special trait. Like, that is your superpowers. Like, literally anytime you walk in a room, it's just like the energy is there. Like, anytime you see anybody, it's like, oh my God, breath of fresh air.
Oh,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course. But it's important to remind ourselves of that. And I think that's one of the things through COVID that I learned was that I do not give myself enough praise. Like, I hold myself to all these standards and I expect a lot from myself, but I never congratulate myself.
That's facts.
Did you ever just sit down and be like, dang, I did that?
I know. And, like, really feel it. Like, not just, like, I did that, but, like,
for yourself. Because it's not about, like, sharing your success or celebrating with other people. It's about celebrating yourself and your differences and what makes you unique and the small accomplishments you have. Like, especially like with my agency too, I did a launch party and that was really special to me and my friends got to come and it was a great time. But I think one of the best parts is doing my own lonely self launch and my own party. And I literally bought a champagne bottle for myself, made myself a little treat, a little dinner, did a bath, and just congratulated myself for like actually making moves and trying to better myself and help my community and reach out to people who need it. Like, we don't do that enough, I feel like.
No.
Not at all.
No. At least I don't.
Right. But that's always something that we can do better. And that's what comes into like the adaptability too, is like having to adapt to being this new person and to having to self-reflect and congratulate ourselves and maybe think about the stuff about ourselves that we don't like, but changing the way that we view that. That's totally a part of that too. Mm. There's always room for growth.
Always.
What big progress do you got going on?
Oh, what progress do I have going on?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like personal, or do you mean like projects? What do you mean?
Let's do personal first.
Personal progress?
Yeah, like anything you feel like you've just been really kicking ass at lately.
That's a good question.
I feel like I'm interviewing you. I'm like, I come on your podcast and I'm like, let me ask you some questions. It's the entrepreneur in me.
On the spot.
I can't help but antagonate people.
Jesus. All right, is it just because like you feel like you've talked for a minute and you need to like have somebody else talk, or is it?
Oh, it is me knowing that if you don't talk, then I will sit here and talk for hours.
But that's the point of the podcast.
I know, but I will.
Okay.
I will ramble.
Okay. Okay. Either way, it's good content. I would want you to, but
Right.
What I've been kicking ass in. On the flies.
I know you're doing your drop locker stuff, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess one thing I'm kicking ass is just putting myself first.
Good.
And with everything I do, whether it's job locker, whether it's like this podcast, whether it's like, I'm about to write a book too.
You're writing a book?
Yeah.
Do you have a name yet?
It's just like a self-help guide. It's like how to not take anything personal. I think
Sick. We need more books like that.
Oh yes. I think I have like a list of questions, probably like 5 or 6, and like if you talk to somebody, like they will like eventually not take anything personal. They'll be like you're right. Like what am I doing?
Right.
So, like,
Well, and that's really important too, especially for people like you and I who are big on energy. I think one of the things that I had to learn too is being careful about what I give my energy to and what I let take my energy, even if it isn't granted or warranted. Like things that used to upset me pre-COVID, like small comments or someone looking at me the wrong way or someone having an opinion about me that maybe, wasn't very great. Yeah. That used to hit me and hit my energy hard, and I would stoop. I would always stoop to that level, and I would always take it so personally. But like through COVID, I realized not everyone deserves your energy, and not everyone deserves your time. Yeah. And for me, time is money. Time means something. You can't get time back. You can't, even the past 20 minutes, we can't take that back. No. So it's important to think about where you give that to. And I know personally for me, I was like, I'm not wasting my time and energy on anybody anymore. If it doesn't benefit me, then why waste?
Then it's not for me.
Exactly.
That's facts. Clap that up. That's facts. That's facts. That's facts.
Well, and it's so hard to do that too, especially when you feel like the whole world around you is like exploding.
Yeah.
Right? Like I feel like that was that mourning phase for me through COVID. It was like, how do I not feel like shit right now? Like, how do I not feel like the world's about to end? What do I do about that? And then I'm like, oh, wait, care about yourself. Focus on yourself, focus on your energy, and be careful with who you associate with, who you talk to, what you give, what you do each day.
See, I knew it was a good idea to bring you on.
I'm the woman of wisdom.
Yes.
Woman of wisdom, Emily May, nice to meet you.
I just knew, I was like, because you bring that, like, I don't know, you bring that, like, feminine energy, like, that high intensity feminine energy.
Divine feminine energy.
I
was literally, you want to know what's so funny? Is
I might, not to cut you off, I might name that the podcast.
Divine feminine? You should. I was literally thinking about it earlier, too. I have been craving a new tattoo. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm in a like very transformational phase right now. Mm. And every time I'm in one of these phases, I get a tattoo. And I've been thinking about getting a back tattoo. Guess what I thought of getting today?
A sun.
No, actually, close. I wanted to get a sun behind my ear. That was the second one. But I wanted to get divine feminine down my back. I was literally thinking about it today. I sketched it out. I literally wrote it in my journal, and I was like, oh,
divine feminine on your back, like on some snake type stuff?
Hell yeah. With like some like flowers and stuff. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. But I was like, I feel like
that's what's calling you.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like one of the things that I'm still haven't perfected yet, but I'm still working into is honing in on being feminine and being a woman and having to learn how to be a woman and appreciate divine feminine and not shy away from it, because I feel like typically women aren't supposed to tap into that. And society is almost built around women changing their aura and changing their divine feminine to fit other people's needs, or like fit the energy that they need, or like what we need them to be. And I feel like it wasn't until maybe a month ago where I was like, why am I so scared of being a woman? Like, it's pretty badass. It's like a superpower at this point. I'm like, once you hone in on that, even divine masculine energy. Like when you can hone in on that, not for anybody else, but for yourself, and appreciate your womanhood, your manhood, like that's a superpower.
Sure.
And I feel like,
and it's attractive.
Fuck yeah. And I feel like ever since I did that, like my whole aura changed. Like, especially with someone who's been so into energy and, you know, I giving what I get, and manifestation. We're big on that too. I could talk about manifestation daily.
That's another episode.
Daily, another episode. But yeah, I feel like my whole aura, like I've seen changes in my body, like physically, mentally, spiritually. Like I feel like it's like it radiates.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to radiate like divinity and like eternal beauty and eternal youth? Like,
exactly.
And I realized I did not mention my agency name.
What is your agency name?
My agency name is drumroll.
Divine Feminine Media.
No, close. Eternal Muse, the agency.
That's fire.
Didn't
Eternal
that just give you
Muse.
chills? Yeah. Eternal Muse. One, it's my initials, Emily May. Yeah. I thought it was pretty clever, I'm not gonna lie.
That's nice.
But that was also a key part in finding my divine feminine and appreciating my womanhood, is that I feel like, especially as women, it's really hard for us in society to not compare ourselves to other people.
That's facts.
Not even just for women, for men as well. You're always comparing. You're always guessing. You're always checking. You always want to, it's like competitive energy. Like you always want to be the best version of yourself, but you also see all these other competitors around you, especially in the field of business as well as a woman. Really hard not to do that. But I feel like ever since I honed in on the divine feminine and really like started to appreciate it, I realized that I stopped looking for someone else to be my muse, and I became my own muse, an eternal muse, hence the name. I will never have to compare myself to anybody else because I embody what I desire. I feel like that's so powerful. Boom. Game changer, dude. Game changer.
It is a game changer.
Yep.
So if for any of you ladies that's listening out there, like tap into your divine feminine energy.
Right? Did you think that we were going to do this podcast today and talk about being a woman?
No, I knew it was going I knew it was going to have to do with something. Honestly, I knew it was going to have to do with something, steering in that direction, but I'm glad it's going there, because like I feel like a lot of women, or especially in society, I feel like women really don't get like appreciated as much, especially in communities. I feel like they're really underrated as far as like being influential under the table. I feel like it's most of the women that's buying stuff. It's most of the women that's talking to other people, spreading the word of mouth, doing the marketing underground. Like it's most of the women that's actually making things move. And like with that being said about divine feminine energy, there's still like untapped space where women could reach to. It's not, there's no ceiling.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's the reason why I built my agency, right? Like I've always been a girl's girl. I always have been. But I feel like, especially growing up, comparing myself so much and like not feeling happy with who I was, it was really hard for me to be a girl's girl because I was always comparing, and I was always like, oh, she's so much prettier, she's so much nicer, like everybody loves her. And that just wasn't cutting it for me, because I'm also a package deal, and I feel like I'm pretty badass, and I am proud to say that. Yeah. And I think that
you are a badass, by the way.
Thank you. And I feel like women are so scared to say that. Yeah. Because we've been taught for so long, don't be bold, don't be aggressive, don't be too much, don't be this, don't be that. Be that. I will be that. I encourage you guys, women and men, be that. Just be it. That's all you gotta do. And that's why with my agency as well, I am centered around helping women entrepreneurs. And that's not to say that I would never expand, but there's an absolute need for support to women who are entrepreneurs, who have startups, or who really haven't had the same encouragement that other people have had. And I know, especially as a woman in business, even in class, like even going to school, like I'll be like one of three. And
Describe, what is one of three?
one of three women in the room.
Oh.
And the rest
Is men.
is men. And I mean, I think for me, since I've found that security within myself, it really wasn't an issue. But that's the reason why I started my agency, because I know that sometimes like that can be really, really scary. It can be really scary. And I think it puts a lot of pressure on women in this space, and they feel like they have to do everything perfect, and they have to look a certain way, be a certain way, act a certain way, talk a certain way. Not in my agency.
Not an Eternal Muse.
Not an Eternal Muse. And it's just a great feeling to feel like I'm going to help so many women find that voice. Like, that's my passion. That's my purpose. Like, I literally would do this for nonprofit if I didn't have to pay for school. Like, I would. But that's not to say I wouldn't expand. It's a start.
It's a start.
Yeah.
You guys got to wait on it. I didn't give you this as a question, but it's kind of tangent to, Eternal Muse and what you're starting up. But like, what's the play out of it? What are you trying to do? You're trying to hire like people just to like manage social media? Are they going to work independent with like the clients, or are you just running a show? Are they like picking up on like what you're going to do?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean?
That's a good question. So there are a couple different fields of where my agency is targeting currently. So the first one I'm doing is one-on-one coaching. If you like what you hear now, hit me up. But yeah, I'm going to do lifestyle coaching, entrepreneurship, like business coaching. So one-on-ones like that. And then I'm doing influencer marketing. So signing personal contracts with influencers, small influencers, big influencers, I really don't care. And getting them contracted deals and helping them find their own financial freedom, because I feel like that's really important as a woman. We have to feel stable within ourselves. And
Facts.
A piece of that is having your own bag. That's key. It's honestly key.
That's facts.
So that was a big part for me too, but I almost stumbled upon it because I wasn't going to do influencer marketing. I love the influencer space. I think that it's super powerful if used correctly, but there's also a lot of people in that space as well. And part of the things I had to get over was feeling like I wasn't going to be able to beat the competition. And that was such an insecurity for me. And now that I'm over that, I'm like, well, okay, there's obviously something to learn here. And my first client was actually an influencer. Yeah, so that's how I stumbled upon it, because she asked me, she just saw what I was doing with my social media, and she was like, well, like, could you help me with mine? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I probably could do that. And it's been really interesting, because I feel like I'm even learning from her, and it's a play-by-play for us.
Iron sharpens iron.
Exactly. And so, like, she's also putting me in spaces where I haven't really felt comfortable before, like legalities of social media, legalities of entrepreneurship and business and contracts and user rights and stuff that, like starting up, you don't really think about until you have content that you need to protect. And so that's been really, really interesting. But I feel like it's a great place to be, because I definitely probably should have thought about that stuff a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to start somewhere. But the other piece of my agency, of course, is B2B. So small startups, woman-ran businesses, helping them with their social media content creation. I also do digital media. I do web development. I do logo design. So really trying to hone in on brand loyalty and make sure that we can create companies that are eternal, because I feel like a lot of the time, I think the scariest part about starting a company is feeling like you're going to fail and you're going to lose it all. Not at Eternal Muse.
Not at Eternal Muse. We have all the divine energy.
Exactly. Well, and, This is actually such a weird tangent, but have you ever been to a psychic?
No. Have you? Are you about to
I
spill
went
right
to
now?
a psychic.
What'd they say?
I went to a psychic, and I was really interested about it. Not that, not every psychic is going to be the same, and if you're not that person, you're not that person,
Yeah.
But I feel like I really took what she had to say to heart, and I feel like if it resonates with your energy, then it might be right. And I remember her telling me, she whipped out her cards, and she was like, holy shit. Like,
Really?
yeah, like, she was, like, shocked. Because I think I saw her when I was maybe, like, 18, 17.
You went to the same person?
Yeah. Well, I only went to her once. And after that, I was like, I got all I need. But she whipped out her cards, and she looked at them. She was shocked, and she was like, I hope you know, you're creating generational wealth. Generational wealth. That is literally a phrase I think about daily.
That's crazy. When was the last time a psychic ever told you that? Like,
generational wealth. Like, isn't that such a humbling, amazing feeling? I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but alrighty.
Thank you.
Thank you. I sure hope so. But wouldn't that be so awesome to, like, be able to create that, not only for yourselves, but for your family, for your children, your grandchildren? Like, that's why Eternal Muse is what it is, because I want women to feel like they have that power.
Yeah.
And you have that capability, that energy to be able to create generational wealth and make a history, make a name for yourself and for your family. Like, that's so important to me. So
that's so good that you stand by it, because I feel like that's definitely the huge difference how you're going to stand out, because in Chico or everywhere there's a lot of social media. Like, we both know there's a lot of social media.
It's a big field.
Management, agencies, people independent, freelancers. But, like, people trying to start their own companies, but off of just the work alone. And it's like, we all do the same things, and we all can, like, replicate each other's, like, stuff. However, like, what's the brand behind it? Like,
exactly.
What's your impact? How, like, what else? Like, we know what you can do, but, like, what else?
Exactly.
And then what else?
And I think, like, I had a very humbling experience probably 2 years ago when I had the first prototype of my agency. It wasn't what it is right now whatsoever. No. I was going to do clothing. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember that.
I was going to do clothing. My company had a completely different name, completely different logo, completely different vibe. But I had a conversation with one of the people that was working with me, and they were like, why do you want to start your company right now? And I was like, I need money, and, I'm going to, like, make so much money, and I'm going to be able to, like, buy whatever I want and do all this stuff. It was very superficial. And I don't think I realized that until I heard myself say it. Like, it was all about the money for me. And that's why I never launched it. That's why I never made clothing. After that conversation, I was like, you can't start a company with that intention. You just truly can't. And especially in the field of social media, people know if you're passionate or not.
They know.
And if you're not passionate and if you don't care, they don't care. Why would I waste my time engaging with your stuff if you don't even like what you do?
That's facts.
Or you're just doing it for superficial needs. And that's why I feel almost blessed to have this agency and to be able to do what I do, because I've never felt more creative, more passionate about something in my life. Like, the community I have, like, just thinking about it. It'll do you good when you can think about it, and it's like, feels like heartfelt. A warm hug.
Yeah, like, you know it.
Like, it gives me the chills every time I think about it, every time I talk about it. Like, that is just my true purpose in life. Not that, I probably won't find other tangents to go on later down the road as a woman in business, but this start just means so much to me, and I've already had so many amazing women I probably never would have met, but since I've been bold enough to put my stuff on social media and start the agency, I have women reach out to me daily and say, I am so grateful that you talked about that today. Like, yeah. I've never heard someone talk about those things, or I've never heard someone say it like that, or never really thought of myself that way. And you really helped me open my eyes and self-reflect and really figure out who I am and appreciate those things, and good and bad. And like, even just knowing that I can make one person smile per day, or one woman feel appreciated and validated, that's all I need for the rest of my life.
That's it.
That's it. That's my purpose.
That's good.
And it's weird to find your purpose so young, too.
I know. Usually people find it later.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things that my family had to adapt to, because they always knew that I was going to, you know, it's funny. When I graduated high school, my family does this tradition where we make shirts and we kind of manifest on our shirts. And my shirt had my baby picture on it.
It's adorable.
They were bright pink. I wish I had a picture. I'll show you guys.
That's so funny. That's hard.
It's literally, it was sick because it was like my whole squad. There were like 30 pink shirts with my face on it. It was sick. But at the bottom, in quotes, it said, "Most likely to become famous, 2025." Because I told my parents, I was like, by the time I'm 25, I'm going to help people and I'm going to create a community and I'm going to change the world. And that was literally in pictures on my graduation day.
Everybody, that's a lot of energy. That changes you too. That changes your mindset. You're like, yo, this people believe in me. Like,
right?
I gotta do it for them.
Even my brother had a shirt as well. His had like a bald eagle or something. I don't know. He wasn't really a cute baby, so we didn't go with the baby picture. But being serious. But he had like
my brother doesn't watch it.
Oh, he knows he was an ugly baby. It wouldn't offend him. Sick guy though. Favorite person in the whole world. But at the bottom of his shirt it said, President Joshua Walker, 2036. And he's a political science major. He's getting his master's actually at San Diego right now. He actually got a job offer with SpaceX and actually interned at the White House. So he's on his way. And I honestly feel like those shirts are important.
They make a difference.
Like those shirts actually had some energy to them. And like, even like looking at all those pictures, I just laugh at it because I'm like, most likely to become famous. Like, come on. Come on.
But it's good, though.
It was good.
It helped your mentality, right?
Right, exactly. And I feel like, I mean, I'm absolutely nowhere close to it now, but I feel it. And if you feel it, I feel like
that's what it is.
You are. That's what it is. Nobody can tell me differently. The universe can't tell me differently because that's how I feel. So I feel like that shirt probably had some magical powers in it. I don't know. I think we got it printed by an independent printer. Maybe she's psychic.
Maybe she's psychic.
Maybe she's got magical powers. Maybe it was.
Who knows? Okay, we're gonna switch to the next question, and after that, I'm gonna ask you one more question. So, what am I gonna ask? So, I was gonna ask you, what are some notes to self that you keep with you in your pocket? It could be about anything. It could be about, self-love. It can be about relationships, business, health. Mm-hmm. Pretty much anything along that spectrum.
Oh, you're going to make me write a book, bro.
Okay.
You're going to make me write a book because I have so many things I carry in my pocket.
All right, maybe 3.
So I would say the biggest thing that I think about, there are probably 3 things that I think about on the daily. First one is be comfortable being uncomfortable. Best thing I've ever learned in my life.
That's a law.
Right? Exactly. And I feel like that is just such a powerful, powerful phrase. And when I think about it, it's in those situations where I don't feel comfortable. And instantly, I think about that, I'm like, why are you scared? Like, you don't have any growth if you're not uncomfortable. Uncomfortability means that it matters. Just like being scared. If you're scared, it matters. If you're not scared, then it doesn't matter. So being comfortable and being uncomfortable has probably been my superpower for the past year, because this whole year has been uncomfortable. Starting an agency is uncomfortable. Going to school online is uncomfortable. Being away from friends is uncomfortable. Or being in really large, settings with a ton of people after being in COVID was uncomfortable. So that's the adaptability part where you kind of just got to move through it.
Yeah.
but I've grown a lot because of it. And I think the second thing, too, that I already kind of talked about earlier is be cautious of what you allow to attract and be cautious of the energy you give. And like I said, leading by example is the key to actually manifesting the life that you want and showing people what you deserve and showing people how they should treat you. And ever since I started doing that, people started taking me more seriously. People listened to what I have to say more. I stopped getting spoken over, which is something that, especially as someone who, I was definitely a little more introverted when I was younger. I had a hard time speaking up. Even as a woman in business, I had a hard time speaking up. But now I deserve to be heard, and I deserve to have people listen to what I have to say, because I've got a lot of shit to say.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's for a reason. And so now I get that respect because I showed people how to treat me. And that is so key, so key. And I feel like especially one of the things that has really hit home for me lately is it's really hard to protect your energy when you feel you're in a space that's not what you expected. Like, it's always hard to dig yourself out of the hole when you're at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to climb back up. You can't. And I feel like one of the things that's really helped me get through that is protecting my energy and really being conscious about what I give people and what I allow them to see, who I am to them, because those relationships matter. But I also think another thing that has really helped me this year, this is probably my third thing. I think my third thing is never never judge a book by its cover. And you know, people say that all the time, right? Like, they literally hear it when you're like 4 years old, 5 years old.
Yeah.
Never judge
So
a book by its
cliche.
cover.
Yeah.
Literally so cliche. But to me lately, I feel like that's had a different meaning. And it comes in a lot of different forms. Like, I feel the key to that, the part to that was missing for me before, I always told people, I was like, I think one of the greatest things about me is that I never judge a book by its cover. But then I would notice that I'm doing things subconsciously that I was trained to think through society.
Exactly.
And so having to do that self-reflection piece and have those tough conversations with myself and think about what I'm talking about or the energy I'm giving off or who is around me, that was a game changer. Like, I now can confidently say I don't judge a book by its cover. But before, now I look back and I've done that self-reflection piece, there's so many subconscious parts of your brain that nobody ever wants to tackle, nobody ever wants to talk about, because we don't want to be that person. We don't want to be someone that is judgmental or insecure or, you know, all those things. But sometimes, especially where you grew up, your environment, your family life, your friends, your school, all these things have an impact on that, right? And what you're used to and what you're not used to. And I feel like it's a whole circle going back to being comfortable, being uncomfortable, because I think the reason why I'm so confident in saying I don't judge a book by its cover now is because I can be uncomfortable, I can be with different people in a different environment, in a different state, at a different time, and I still feel okay about it. And I still feel calm, collected, comfortable, because I don't have that subconscious judgment anymore of people. And I allow people to show me the energy they want to give me, as the same I would do, leading by example. I show them who I am. I don't need them to assume. And I feel like key to life.
It's the key to life.
Key to life. Those are my pockets.
Are your 3 things.
My 3 pocket moments. Yeah.
That's very
Sayings.
good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have? Thank you.
We gotta pop that up. That was really good.
What would you say are your
enjoyed
3
that.
pocket things?
My 3 pocket things. Oh Jesus. I mean I have like a lot of things. One is to probably just have a high standard for yourself. that goes along with just like getting out of the way of your own thinking, and knowing that like you're really much valuable than you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of similar to the second one, which is like know your worth and like charge double.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Like, you gotta know your worth, and then once you know
Say
it,
that again one more time.
know your worth, and then charge double.
Charge double.
Charge double.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Damn right.
That's facts though. Like,
Divine masculine, man. That's what it is.
Divine masculine energy, boys.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And yeah, those are what I've been on.
Good. I like that.
Thank you.
I feel like we're always on the same page.
I know, I
You
do.
always get the vibe.
I know. I feel like we've always been on the same page. We just never like, I don't know. We just never had a lot of conversations about it.
Yeah, I feel like, especially too, when you are someone who holds your energy and yourself really highly, sometimes you don't gotta have those conversations. Like, I feel like we never talked about it, but we just knew.
That's good.
Because it's an aura, it's an energy,
Yeah.
it radiates.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, you walk in the room and like people know about it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we've always just been like coexisting. Like, just
yeah.
we like get each other, but we don't even have to talk about it. But now we talked about it. I feel like
I like that. I like that.
it makes sense. It makes sense.
I like that. That's good. Who should I interview next?
Ooh. Oh my God. I have someone that you would actually really, really love. One of my really, really dope homies, his name is Owen Neepsey. He actually has a clothing brand called Anemone. Look it up. It's pretty sick. Really high quality, too, if you're wondering. I should have worn his jacket. Gosh darn. Didn't think about it.
Promotion.
Right. I'll show you jacket later. But he is... he is just such a chill guy. And
Really?
I feel like there's a lot to learn from him that I still learn to this day. And I feel like he is just one of those people that just radiates good energy and loves others, is a compassionate person, a great person, puts a lot of passion and time and work and energy into his project and into Anemone clothing. And like, it's, you're going to have to look him up. Like, even like, it's just sick stuff, like really cool stuff. And I feel like he's one of those people too that you just absolutely love. Like,
He's vibes.
Oh, he's big vibes. He's big vibes. He's always the happiest man in the room. He's always got some good stuff to say. So
I love that.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna reach out to him and let him know. I don't know if you're seeing this.
I'm gonna get you. I mean, his info from you after this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He would love that.
That's good. Well, I think that's a wrap. Thank you everybody for listening to the Second Son podcast. Remember to like and subscribe. Whoever's viewing, if you're watching, like, I know you're watching, so make sure
I
you like.
forgot you guys were there. Hey guys.
Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe, and also shout out to Eternal Muse. Make sure you follow her, and also follow her, or if you want, like, your personal Instagram handle.
My personal, all my socials actually are I'm Emily May, so find me there.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really lit. And before we leave, Emily, can you please close us out with a few words of wisdom? You already spit like a lot of wisdom.
I feel like people are tired of hearing my wisdom. What do I want the world to know today? Why is this one question that I didn't think about? I would say make sure that you use your time wisely. And when I say that, use every single minute of every single day with a purpose and with a passion and with a goal in mind, with, something you want to change or something you want to do it. And be confident in the time that you use and in the way you use your time. I feel like once you do that, life becomes a lot more beautiful.
Well said, Emily. Well said. I love that. There you have it, folks. Tune in for the next episode of the Second Son podcast. Hopefully with Owen. If that's his name.
Yes,
Owen.
yes, Owen.
And we'll catch up with you guys soon. Peace. That was good. I like that. That was a wrap.